Okay, so I'm clearly audible, right? No disturbances, right?
So,
Yes.
before you start, I have to just say you something.
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, like the first lecture which we had missed it earlier,
Which lecture? What will?
the very starting, which you said that by next day you should be prepared with your calculators, notebooks, and
Yeah,
other.
okay. Okay, fine.
So that
Yeah.
the first lecture notes are still not been given to us,
Yes,
and
yes.
I think,
See, I had already mentioned to you, okay, that once your college your visit email IDs are actually given are available in your added your course which is there, okay, so it is added in the ERP in the college in our college it has a ERP system, okay. So once it is added and that once it is available, that system is configured for you for your class, okay, for all the first years, okay. So then after that it will be made available there. Okay, I had mentioned that already.
yeah, like no, all the other teachers, like we have that Google Classroom, so basically they send there all the this PPTs or notes
Okay,
or
fine.
lecture material, etc. That's
Okay,
why.
fine. That is okay. See, they are doing it. Okay, fine. So that is their call. Yes, but we have an ERP system and we've been asked to specifically use it. Okay, for sharing all that. So okay, fine. That is
That's
already in
fine.
my yeah. That is already okay. I am have a reminder about that. Okay, I set a reminder about that. And as soon as it is configured, okay. So your VSET email IDs are configured. So then that data will be made available to you. Okay, that notes which are there. Okay, for that first session, the lecture slides which are there, they'll be made available to you. Okay.
Yeah, so because on 27, 20, 29th we are having unit test first. That's why.
Yes, I know that. I know that before you. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Welcome, sir.
Yeah. And there is, let me okay give you a reminder. Okay, that there is no need to accept the invitations on each for each lecture. Okay, there's no need to accept each of them separately. Okay, so because anyways you accept it or not. Okay, so you are supposed to be joining. Okay, except just for when it is for the examination, when the such a link is generated for your examination. Okay, let it be your internal assessment or let it be for your oral practical examination. At that time, then it is compulsory to be accepting the invitation. Okay, that is actually a record there. Okay, that is actually one of the part of the procedure. But otherwise, for daily lecture, there is no need to give the acceptance on each time. Okay, am I clear? So now we'll proceed. And yeah. So today we'll be starting with our next topic, okay, which is about the kinematics of particles. As as we had discussed at the very start of the term, okay, that our engineering mechanics, which is there, okay, so that is broadly divided into statics and dynamics, right? Engineering mechanics it is statics and dynamics, and then in dynamics when I'm talking about kinematics, then when I'm discussing about kinematics, then what happened? I will not be considering the the cause of the motion which is there. And when I'm considering kinetics, when I'm talking about kinetics, then I'll be considering the cause of the motion also. So statics or the area or branch of statics which is there, so then the body it is at rest. Okay, we are considering bodies which are not at motion. So the forces which are acting on a body when it is not in motion. So we'll be at all the cases which are there. Okay, so we had discussed about resultant, we had discussed about centroid. So all those cases which were there. Okay, so then the body it was at rest. So now today, which was there, today we'll be discussing about the body in when the body which is there, okay, that is in motion. But the topic and this branch which is there, we have kinematics. And in the kinematics, again, we can talk about kinematics of particle, which is forming a your fourth module. And then there is kinematics of rigid body, which is a part of your fifth module. Okay. So right now we'll be today. Okay, so we'll be starting with the kinematics of a particle, and at the end of this particular module, which is there, okay, so as in our engineering language, okay, so we talk about modules, okay, not as chapters. So at the end of this particular module, what is expected is that I should be able to establish the relation between the velocity and acceleration for a particle, and I should be able to analyze the motion by plotting a relation. So the first part which is there, okay, so establishing the relation between velocity and acceleration of a particle. So here this term is important. So what is a particle? Can anybody recollect what is a particle? We had discussed that. I had mentioned that earlier. Can anybody recollect? It would be great. Yeah, anybody? What is meant by particle? See, right now,
negligible mass.
yes, it is a particle means whatever, irrespective of the size of the whatever, irrespective of the size, irrespective of its actual mass, which is there, we are considering that entire body which is there as a single point, at a single point, right? That is what is meant by a particle. So I'm considering it as the whatever the size of the body which will let it be, whatever the size of my level of my body will let it be, whatever the mass it will be. I'm just considering that entire body which is there as a single particle. So can you give me an example for a particle? Just for the sake of discussion, can we have a couple, say an example for a what do you think that, okay, you can say that yes, it's a particle. Any example?
Electron.
Electron. Yeah, fine. That's fine. Actually, that's a good example. Something which you can see. Electron, okay, I cannot see, right?
Atom.
Yeah, fine. Can you see an atom? I can take electron as a particle. I can take nucleus, electrons, protons, neutrons, all of them. Yeah, fine. I can assume that all of them are particles. Okay, fine. But are they visible to my naked eye? No, they are not. So can you think of anything? Okay, just think about something which you can say, okay, which is visible to you, and you can say that, yeah, that's a particle.
A very small piece of matter.
Dust particle.
Yes. Think about the dust part. Think about dust. वो dust particle का आपको size कितना रहता है? Think about sand. मिट्टी सोचो, मिट्टी का आपको पार्टिकल साइज कितना रहता है? आपका साइज कितना है मिट्टी का? अरे मिट्टी बोलो नहीं तो रेत बोलो. आप बीच में जाते हो, ओके, उसका साइज कितना रहता है? So that is something which you can actually see, right? Which you can experience. Atom हम बोल रहे हैं, हमने सीखा है, और it is existing, all that is fine. But can you see that with your naked eye? No, you cannot, right? So sand can be an example. Okay, so that's what I was actually. बंद कर दो. Sorry for the interruption. If you're talking about sand, okay, so then sand you can very well relate. Yeah, I'm able to understand. I can able to see that, right? कि sand कितना छोटा है. Sand की जगह में अगर मैं एक stone ले रहा हूँ, तो stone उससे ज़्यादा बड़ा हो गया. So on a comparative scale, I can consider that sand is there as a particle. जो हम sand particle करके बोलते हैं. Then I have rigid body. So when I have rigid body, then I am considering its dimensions and its mass. Something which has dimension, something which has mass. Particle, negligible dimension, negligible mass. Hint. Analyze the motion by plotting the relation. The second part of my statement which is there, okay. So that is about then at that stage, okay. I am talking about motion curve. Okay, so during the course of our lectures, okay, so we'll also be seeing that, okay, how I can graphically plot the different types of motions which are there. Okay, so I'll also be having a look at that, and that is what is actually and we are intending by actually this particular section. So our total outcome is there. So at the end of this particular topic, at the end of this particular module, you will be able to establish the relationship between the velocity and acceleration of a particle and to be able to analyze the motion by plotting the relation. Okay. So the module, what are the contents in this module? Okay, so firstly we'll be starting with the motion of a particle with variable acceleration. So here I'll firstly, okay, so we'll be talking about rectilinear motion. Okay, what is meant by this term rectilinear motion? Have you heard this term anywhere? Rectilinear?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Two-dimensional motion.
Linear motion, right? Rectilinear. So as it is there in the part, I am talking about linear motion. And then the same way, okay. So when I'm talking about motion of a particle, then I can broadly split that into rectilinear and curvilinear. So rectilinear motion, horizontal motion. Curvilinear motion, a motion which is there along a curve. Then we'll be talking about the tangential and normal components of acceleration. Then we'll be talking about the motion curves. Okay. So here I told you that we'll be analyzing the motion by plotting the relation. That part is there. Okay, so we'll be discussing on motion curves. So in the motion curves, we'll be discussing about acceleration time curves, velocity time, and displacement time curves. Then we also have another curve, okay, which is about, and in the same way we can also have a couple more of curves. Okay, so we can have 3 more curves here. We can have curve between acceleration and velocity, or between acceleration and displacement in that. And finally, we'll be also be discussing about projectile motion. Okay, so if the time permits, we'll also be discussing about projectile motion, which is actually already you have discussed, right? Projectile motion आपको already 11th and 12th में cover हो जाता है ना? So we'll just be actually slightly brushing through that. Correct? 11th 12th में आपको पता है ना projectile motion? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
आपने ये टर्म पहली बार नहीं सुना है ना projectile motion जो है?
No,
No.
sir.
No.
No.
When I'm asking something, so kindly reply promptly, okay? क्योंकि आप promptly reply करोगे तो उतना टाइम हमको वेस्ट जाएगा. Why are we using the kinematic? Why are we studying this? So the different examples if you are taking about, if I'm thinking about different examples, let me start with, okay, this, what is this game? What game is this? Can you tell me?
Golf.
Yeah, you can talk, you can say, yeah, it's golf, right?
Golf.
In this, so why, okay, so in this case, okay, so what is the significance of studying the kinematics of a particle here? Why I'm studying kinematics of a particle here? Okay. So different cases which is there to determine the trajectory of a golf ball which is there. So doesn't this come as projectile motion, right? The motion of the golf ball here, so doesn't that class come under projectile motion, right? So the trajectory which is there, okay, so in which the golf ball will go, that will come under projectile motion. The next which is there, the orbital speed of the satellite. Yes. So for a satellite which is there, we have Earth's gravity, right? We have Earth's gravity coming here. We have our Earth's gravity here, right? When I'm talking about the orbit, the speed of the satellite which is there. So here, we have low Earth orbit, LEO, it is called as low Earth orbit. Okay. Then there is another orbit known as geosynchronous. So all our communication satellites which are there, okay, so all the communication satellites which are there, they are actually in, okay. So the communication satellites which all we use, the GPS satellites that we are using, okay. So all of them, they are flying at the geosynchronous orbit which is there. What is the geosynchronous? When I'm saying that, okay, a satellite, it is geosynchronous. That means the time that the satellite takes for one complete rotation of the Earth, that is same as that is the same as the time that the Earth takes for one rotation. Okay, so हम अपना day and night का अपना time duration कितना है? Earth का one rotation about its axis, how much time does Earth take?
24 hours.
24. It takes 24 hours. So the satellite which is there, if a satellite it is taking me 24 hours for completing one revolution around the Earth, then that is said that satellite is in geosynchronous orbit. Okay, such type of satellites they are used for communication purposes. अपना मोबाइल का नेटवर्क हो गया, ग्लोबल पोजिशनिंग, जीपीएस सिस्टम हो गया, इसके सब के लिए हम ये ऑर्बिट में सैटेलाइट यूज करते हैं. Then we have the low Earth orbits which are there. When I'm saying that, okay, the geosynchronous orbit which is there, that is something like 36 or 37,000 kilometers. Okay, so I don't remember the figure exactly. Okay, so something between 36 and 37,000 kilometers which is there from the Earth. So that is the distance for the geosynchronous orbit which is there. Then the low Earth orbit, okay, so that is say hardly, you can say anywhere from up to some 3,000 or 4,000, some up to 7,000 some kilometers which is there. Okay, up to 7,000 kilometers. Okay, so such a satellite which is there, that is called as the low Earth orbit. So then at the speed which is there, now this satellite, when it is at this much of distance from the Earth, so at what speed the satellite should be moving such that it is covering one revolution in 24 hours. So how do I calculate that? For all that, again, I'll be requiring my kinematic relations which are there. Kinematic relations which are there. Then I have the aircraft which is flying. Okay. So our commercial aircraft, even let it be your commercial aircraft or let it be your fighter aircraft, any of those cases which are there, all these motions which are there, the flight plan, that okay, there is something called as a flight plan. So the flight plan, what is the flight plan indicates of what the flight plan says to you, that okay, at how much speed which is there. Okay, so the aircraft which is there, at what speed it should be taking off, then how much distance of the runway is required for taking off, what is the weight, at what should be the angle which is there, what should be the pitching angle at which the aircraft I should be turning, so that I get a smooth takeoff which is there. Then at what altitude should I be flying, at what speed I should be flying, then the flight path which is there, in the flight plan which is there, all of that is included. And all of these which are there, okay, so why I'm telling you all these things, all these you will be thinking like, okay, fine, why is all this bullshit being happening? But see, behind all this planning which is there happening, okay, so there is some kinematic relations which is involved. That is what actually I am trying to give you the significance of what you are going to study in the next few sessions. Okay, do not take them lightly. If you are intending or if you are thinking about a career, okay, in say even if you can think about all of these, okay, as different career points. So at any point in your, if you're thinking about a career, so then you'll have to be coming from somewhere or the other, you'll be coming across this relation. Okay, so what is the dynamics there? Firstly, the dynamics as we have classified, okay, the study of the geometry of the motion, and we'll be talking about displacement, velocity, acceleration in time without the reference to the cause of motion. And then we have kinetics, where we will be talking about the motion and the cause of motion. Okay. Now, we have have particle kinetics. Okay, then we have rectilinear motion where we have the position, velocity, and acceleration of a particle as a single line. Now here, okay, so yeah, this is a great photo about Mount Fuji. Okay, this is about Mount Fuji, Japan. But that is not actually our intent. What is that is not. I do not want you to see about Mount Fuji. Yeah, that's a great place to be. But I want you to see this. This is the bullet train, which is there. You know, the bullet train is that moves in. What is the path of motion of for a bullet train? Mostly, it moves on a straight line. Next, I have curvilinear motion. So there, the position, velocity, and acceleration of the particle moves along a curved line in maybe 2 or maybe in 3 dimensions. So, an example for curvilinear motion, yes, I can talk about an aircraft. Now, when I'm talking about rectilinear motion, so we will be talking about the particle, it is moving along a straight line. So now I have these terms. Okay, so now let me go back here. And we have to make a couple of things clear. Okay, so we have scalar and we have vector quantity. Now, when I'm saying that, okay, there is distance, so is it scalar or is it vector?
Scalar.
Distance, the term distance, that is that scalar or vector?
Scalar.
Yes, distance means scalar. So when I want to want to represent it in vector form, then what do I call it?
Displacement.
Yes, we call it as displacement. The next term?
Speed.
Yes. Good.
Velocity.
Speed, which is that does not relate to the direction, right? So when I'm talking about a with the direction, then we call it as velocity. Then next one,
Acceleration.
we have acceleration, and we have acceleration here also, right? You
Yes,
can have, yeah. So here also we call that as acceleration only, right? In vector form also we call that as acceleration. In scalar form also we call that as acceleration only. Yes. So now when I am talking, okay, let me consider a frame of reference, which is always when I'm talking about a vector motion. So there will be always required to be a frame of motion. So now I will be requiring a position coordinate. Okay, so defined by the positive or negative distance from a fixed origin in a line. So now I have my fixed origin O here. So the at the particle which is at P. Okay, so that is at a distance which is having a displacement of x from O. In the particle P dash which is there. Okay, so that is having a displacement of x dash from O. Now, the motion of the particle which is there can be, so how can I represent the motion of a particle? X, so always my distance which is there, I'll be showing it as x. So it can be formed in the, that which is there in the form of a function of time. So x which is a bracket function, x which is a function of time, that is equal to 6t square minus t cube. That is just one actually method by which I can represent. Now what about the graphical form which is there? If I want to represent in the form of a graph between x and t which is there, so it will be forming something like this. If I'm talking about relation, this is just an empirical relation. Okay, here. Now next which is there, if I want, where now this x which is there, that is a function of time. The displacement is a function of time. And what is the function? What is the correlation between the time, displacement and time? That is given by 60 minus dq. Now the next which is there between the velocity and acceleration. What is meant? What is the definition of what is the definition of velocity which is there? Yeah. Anybody? Can you remember the term that you have studied in school? That what is the term of velocity?
Velocity is equal to displacement upon time.
Velocity is equal to displacement about time. That is fine. That is correct. But there is
Change
actually
in
another
velocity upon change in time.
Just a minute. Come again. I did not hear you.
So change in displacement upon change in time.
Change in displacement, or actually I had studied velocity like this. I had studied velocity like this. Heard this anywhere?
So we did not hear you.
You did not have? What you all told, that is all fine. That is correct. Okay. But when I'm talking about velocity, the rate of change of displacement with respect to time, that gives me a
Yeah.
more actually precise definition about what is velocity.
Yes, sir.
The same case, I have rate of change of velocity with respect to time, that is acceleration. Rate of change of displacement with respect to time, that is velocity, and rate of change of acceleration of velocity with respect to time, that is acceleration. Okay, so that is actually a more precise definition about that. Okay, so how do I calculate? How do I compute it? So I have now, when I am talking about average velocity, which is there. Okay, so when it is all about the derivation, right? So I take the displacement or the change of displacement for a time. Firstly, I take the displacement at time t. Then I take the displacement at time t plus delta t. Okay, then I take the difference of both of them. So whatever the displacement that has happened in that time duration delta t, which is that is delta x. So I'll be telling that the average velocity in that particular interval. Okay, so when my particle is moving between p and p dash, then and at that particular instant the velocity which is that is given by delta x by delta t. Hint. So this will be my average velocity at that entire instant. And when I'm taking the limit, okay, so when I'm taking the limit for that and the limit delta t tends to 0, so that becomes the instantaneous velocity. What is the difference between average velocity and instantaneous velocity? They are going to give me the same thing, right? But what do you think is the difference between average and instantaneous velocity?
Sir, instantaneous velocity is about a very small point of time, like very close to the fixed point of time, and average is it's in a range.
On a larger time span. Instantaneous at this particular this particular second which is there, what has the velocity? So at the next second that can change. That change which is there, okay, so that comes as instantaneous acceleration also. The same things which is there, they'll coming for acceleration also. We'll be having average acceleration and we'll be having instantaneous acceleration also. So the instantaneous velocity which is that is represented as v equal to limit delta t tends to 0, delta x by delta t, and which is also given by dv by dt, right? Dx by dt. So v equal to limit delta t tends to 0. This particular part which is that becomes dx divided by dt. Now, this is when I am considering only motion about the x-axis. Now, suppose if I have the particle that is moving along the x-axis and y-axis both. Okay, so then the x component which is there, that becomes v equal to dou x divided by dou t. This is actually what is this showing me? Dou x by dou t, what does it show me? That is a partial differential. So when suppose, okay, so any place you are seeing that v equal to dx by dou x by dou t, then what this means? At that point, the particle which is there, let it be the particle or let it be the body, it is going to have motion along multiple axes, right? So when I have v equal to dx by dt, then it is only motion only about one axis, or I can be v equal to either dx by dt or dy by dt or dz by dt. So in any of these cases which are there, okay, so when I'm using this expression, what does it mean? I'm going to consider the motion about only one axis. I'm not going to consider motion in two different directions. So when I have to consider them, then what does it become? It becomes dou x by dou t, dou y by dou t, dou z by dou t. If it is represented like this, then I should be able to understand that I will be talking about motion across multiple axes. Either it can be, say, combination of x and y, or it can be x and z, or maybe along all the three axes. It can be any possibility. Right now, for the case of our definition, which is that we have considered just about rectilinear motion. So we are considering the motion only about one axis. Okay. The instantaneous velocity which is there, it can be either positive or negative. Hence, the magnitude of the velocity which is there, it can be referred to as particle speed. So we have v equal to limit delta t tends to 0, delta x by delta t equal to dx by dt. So now the same displacement relation which that we had earlier, okay, so x equal to 6t square minus t cube. So this so to find out, if I want to find out the instantaneous velocity at any particular time, at any particular instant, what will be my relation? V equal to dx by dt equal to d by dx of 6t square minus t cube, that is 12t minus dt square. Now in the next part which is there, so I have acceleration. So what was acceleration then? Acceleration was the rate of change of velocity with respect to time. So that means firstly I'll be considering the velocity of the particle at the first instant at time t, then secondly at the time t plus delta t. So and when I'm taking the rate of change, which is that will be delta v by delta t, acceleration equal to limit delta t tends to 0, delta v by delta t, and this is equal to, that becomes equal to dv by dt. Now the acceleration also, again we have instantaneous acceleration, okay, or we can have average acceleration or instantaneous acceleration. Indeed, it can be when the instantaneous acceleration is positive, that means my positive velocity is that is increasing, and when my according to my direction, okay, so or decreasing negative velocity. Or what happens when the instantaneous acceleration is negative? Either it will be my decreasing positive velocity or it will be my increasing negative velocity. Okay, so from this definition, okay, so acceleration equal to dv by dt, and dv by dt which was there. So here my dv by dt, already it was dx by dt, so d by dx or d by dt of dx by dt, and which becomes d square x by dt square. So my velocity expression from the previous slide, which was that was 12t minus 3t square. So here again, when I'm differentiating that with respect to time, I'm getting as 12 minus 2t. So here what happens, my acceleration which is there, that is a function of t, and it is going to be a linear function. So that's why here it's a straight line. Now in the second case here, it was a v which was there, v which was proportional to t square, right? Now in the first case which was there, x was proportional to t cube, right? The highest power was t cube. So that's why we had a cubic curve. In the second, we had a parabolic curve. In the third case, now we have a linear curve. We have a linear line. It's linear. Okay. Any questions on this here? Okay. So now, okay. So I have just a second. Okay. So what is due of the kinematics of a particle? You have four options. Okay. So firstly, the velocity of a particle, it is always positive. The velocity of particle is equal to the slope of the position time graph, or if the position of a particle is 0, then the velocity must be 0. Or if the velocity is 0, velocity of the particle is 0, then its acceleration must be 0. Which of the following is true? I'll give you a minute. Okay, so you can think. I'll give you a couple of minutes. You can think, and you can give your answer.
So any one is true or multiples are true for it?
Yeah, you can think. You can think about it. Yes, what's the answer?
Yes, sir.
इतने बहुत देर में तो बेटा हम लोग कोई गूगल में देख के आंसर तो मार्क भी कर देते थे.
नहीं सर, गूगल में देखा ही नहीं.
सर
हाँ बोलो.
सर B C D are true.
B, C, D और true.
Are true.
All three or any one of three?
All three,
Sir,
sir.
all three, sir.
ठीक है. अभी ओके 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 फाइन. नाउ just for just a second. Okay, so for okay, your thought is fine. Let me give you an example. Okay, so now just consider that you have a pendulum in your hand. Okay, आपके हाथ में एक पेंडुलम है. आप उसको एकदम पेंडुलम को रेस्ट में आप कर रहे हो, ठीक है. एंड देन यू आर मूविंग द पेंडुलम. ओके, आप पेंडुलम का बॉब जो उसको आप मूव कर रहे हो. So at that for the bob, okay, so what happens, आपको कितने पॉइंट है जहां पे वो पेंडुलम का आपको पोजीशन जीरो बोल सकते हैं. जहां पे मैंने मोशन स्टार्ट किया वो मेरा पोजीशन जीरो होगा. तो आइदर एट द लेफ्ट हैंड और एट द राइट हैंड. करेक्ट. ओके, और इफ आई एम स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम द सेंटर से मैं अगर उसको हाथ में ऐसे दे रहा हूँ, if from the center if I am okay just touching it and causing it to move, then my position is at the center. तो सेंटर में जब मेरा पोजीशन वेक्टर जो है मेरा, ओके, so don't think about as a distance. Okay, जब मेरा पोजीशन वेक्टर करके जब मैं सोच रहा हूँ, so at that point at the center it is that the position it will become zero, but at that point is the velocity zero?
No, sir.
Are you able to imagine what I'm intending to tell you, what I want to tell you?
Yes, sir.
And उस सेम पोजीशन पे क्या उसका एक्सेलरेशन जीरो है?
No, sir.
तो C and D की possibilities आपको है ही नहीं. The only option which is there, okay, that will be B.
D.
The velocity of the particle which is there, that is equal to the slope of the position time graph. देखो, हम कभी भी अगर मैं अगर ग्राफ पेपर के बारे में, अगर स्कूल के ग्राफ के बारे में भी सोच रहा हूँ, तो मैंने एक ये बनाया. ओके, तो मैंने कुछ तो भी मान लो मैंने एक कर्व बनाया. ओके, मुझे एक कर्व दिया है एंड ये कर्व का अगर मुझे स्लोप निकालना है, तो ये कर्व का स्लोप मैं कैसे निकालता हूँ? Let it be any curve, which is let it be. Okay, so how do I take the slope of the curve? I take delta y upon delta x, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I take delta y upon delta x and that becomes the slope at that particular region. Now if it is that entire curve, then that becomes the slope of the entire curve of the entire line, right? अगर मुझे ऐसे कर्व दिया है और मुझे बोल रहे हैं कि I have v here and I have t here, and if I am asked to find out the distance, then how do I find it out?
You have to multiply them. B into T.
I'll be taking the area under, right? I'll be taking the area under the curve, है ना?
Same as
हमने किया
multiplying.
है स्कूल में. ये नहीं है कि हमने स्कूल में कभी किया ही नहीं ऐसे एग्जांपल, हमने किए. मुझे कभी अगर डिस्टेंस निकालना होता है, मैं वेलोसिटी टाइम ग्राफ के नीचे का एरिया लेता हूँ. और मुझे कभी अगर वेलोसिटी मेरे अगर डिस्टेंस टाइम ग्राफ दिया है और मुझे वेलोसिटी निकालना है, मुझे नहीं तो मुझे स्लोप निकालना है, स्लोप से मुझे आगे का कुछ कैलकुलेशन करना है, then I find out the slope by delta y upon delta x, right? So delta y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 करता हूँ, right? Not that I do not do it. So the velocity of the particle which is there, that is equal to the slope of the position time graph. That is my answer. That is my answer. Okay. Now, when I have acceleration which is there, okay, so as a position function of the time, position, velocity, ये अभी आपको at the when I am actually at the end of this particular table, which is there, when I'm completing this particular table, so at that point what happens, I'll be having, okay, मैं कैसे भी करके जब होता है तो I'll be able to, that will be very much useful for me, okay, when I'm talking about motion force. So first case, when I'm given, okay, suppose I'm given acceleration as a function of time. The kinematic relation will be acceleration equal to dv by dt. And if I want to find out over an interval, then integral of that, so I can integrate it. So when I'm integrating acceleration, when I'm integrating the acceleration over a particular time, then what I can get, and the product of acceleration and time over a particular range, then I'll be getting the rate of change of velocity, right? ये दोनों रिलेशन मुझे इंपॉर्टेंट है, एक या तो मुझे उसको ये करना है, बिकॉज सी डिफरेंस ऑलवेज, okay, so this is actually a very mathematical term. Always when I am talking, when I have a curve, okay, so when I am finding out the slope of the curve, that is same as making the differentiation. And when I want to find out the area under the curve, then what I do, I integrate it. Okay, so remember,
Yes.
it is good to remember it. The next relation is there. So either I am given the dt equal to the x with dt equal to dx divided by v, and acceleration equal to dv divided by dt. So from both of them, which is there, okay, so I can say acceleration equal to v into dv by dx. This is the case when I have variable acceleration motion. Okay, so acceleration equal to v into dv by dx. Next, which is their acceleration as a function of velocity. When acceleration is given as a function of velocity, which is that, so firstly dv by dt equal to acceleration, and then when I am finding out the curve, okay, area under the curve, then I can get the time. ये कोई भी केस अगर मुझे वेलोसिटी दिया है, ये acceleration दिया है और मुझे टाइम निकालना है, टाइम स्क्वायर निकालना है, तो how do I do that? These are actually different iterations to that. Okay, so take a screenshot and keep it with you. Okay, so it will be useful later on when we'll be taking different types of numericals. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, the first one, dv by dt equals to a bracket t, and the third one dv by dt equals to a bracket v. How does this both are equal?
Here, which is there, okay. So here, generally what is acceleration? Acceleration, which is that acceleration
dv
equal
by
to
dt.
dv by dt, right? But if I am given a relation such that the acceleration, I am given a relation just between acceleration and velocity. So then in that case, how do I find out time? So then I can write acceleration equal to dv by dt, okay, and it is equal to this function which is already given to me, that is in terms of acceleration in terms of velocity.
Okay,
Then
sir.
you replace t with t and acceleration, so you replace them and you integrate them. So when you're integrating at that time, then you can get the time interval. Okay, these are actually mutually coexistent. Then now, okay, the different possibilities that are there. Okay, so firstly, I can have uniform rectilinear motion. What is meant by uniform rectilinear motion? My velocity, the rate of the change of displacement, that is constant. The rate of change of displacement, that is constant, right? So in that case, the acceleration which is there, the particle which is there, that is moving at constant velocity. And when a particle is moving at constant velocity, which is there, at that time, the acceleration which is there, that is equal to v. So v equal to dx divided by dt, and in when I'm just considering that, okay, so then what happens, x equal to x0 into v plus v into t. So now this is something that you know, right? ये equation कहीं पे देखा है आपने?
Yes, sir.
कहाँ पे देखा है?
v equals to u plus at.
हाँ, v equal to u plus at. बाकी का दो equation भी बोल दो.
S is equal to ut plus half at square,
हाँ,
v square
s
equals to
equal to
u
ut
square
plus
plus
half
2as.
at square. हाँ, अब स्कूल की याद आ गया, बहुत अच्छा लगा. These equations which we have seen in school. So all these equations which are there, okay, so you are correct. In these equations, when at what case do these equations hold true? When I'm considering only uniform rectilinear motion. An example, when a parachute which is there, okay, when the parachute is reaching the terminal velocity, okay, so at that came, then the motion it is in the weight which is there, that is equal to the drag force. Initially मुझे क्या होगा, when during the free fall, initially my velocity will start increasing, right? Initially my velocity will increase, but over the distance which is there, at some point which is there, okay, so it comes at the velocity which is there, there is known as the terminal velocity. So beyond that, which is that stage, what happens, ये इतने केस में मुझे acceleration हो रहा है, ये उसके बाद में ये केस में मुझे acceleration which is that becomes equal to 0. I am reaching the terminal velocity, and उसके बाद में से uniform velocity में move होगा. Next is there, I have uniformly accelerated motion. So in this case, what happens? I have acceleration equal to constant. तो जब मुझे acceleration constant है, तो velocity क्या होगा?
चेंज होता रहेगा।
Velocity change होगा, लेकिन velocity change कैसे होगा आपको?
यूनिफॉर्मली
change
चेंज
होगा. Yes, when you have when my acceleration is 0, then the velocity will remain constant. First case, acceleration equal to 0, velocity equal to constant. Second case, acceleration equal to constant. What happens? My velocity equal to uniformly increasing, right? Uniformly increasing.
Increasing or decreasing, no?
Whichever. Yes, you are right. It can either increase or decrease. Okay. So depending on what is my acceleration. अगर acceleration मेरा negative है, तो ये velocity जो है, velocity मेरा uniformly decrease होती जाएगा. The third case which is that, third case that I'll be having, okay, so there where we have the acceleration that is not uniform. Acceleration is a constant नहीं है, variable acceleration है. So variable acceleration के case में क्या होगा मुझे? Velocity will be again variable, right? So अगर acceleration is that is a function of time, then the velocity will be a function of t square. वैसे the displacement will be a cubic curve, likewise. You know, again we go back to the equation, the school equations that we just talked about in the previous slide. But these equations which will be there, okay, so in these same equations which are there, will be applicable only for the case of uniformly accelerated motion. So now what we'll do is that we'll take a particular problem, okay, and we'll see that, okay, how we'll be doing that. So the first case which is there, okay, I have a problem. I have the case which is there, a particle that is moving in my positive x direction. Okay, so particle that is moving in the positive x direction, and it has an acceleration of a equal to 100 minus 4v square. If you let me write that, a equal to 100 minus 4 into v square. Now, determine the time interval and the displacement of the particle when the speed it changes from 1 meters per second to v to 3 meters per second. So what happens? My v1 which is there, that is 1 meters per second, and my v2 which is there, that is 3 meters per second. Okay. So when I have v1 equal to 1 and v2 equal to 3, what I'm supposed to find out? I'm supposed to find out the time interval and the displacement of the particle. I am given the acceleration. So acceleration equal to dv by dt equal to d square x upon dt square, right? When I the first thing which is there. So from the acceleration, when I have to find out the displacement, so what I have to do, what function I have to do? Do I have to do differentiation or do I have to do integration? What do you think? What we should be doing?
Integration.
Yeah, we should be doing integration. Now, how many times should I be doing integration? How many times should I be doing the integration?
Twice.
Why do you think so? I have to do integration twice.
So it is an acceleration we have to find with respect to x. like it is already there, like d by d2, like d2x by dt square is there.
Yes, acceleration
If
it
we
is just
integrate-
to find out the acceleration, it is double differential of displacement. So when I want to find
yes.
out displacement, that will be double integral of acceleration. Okay, so yeah, you are correct. Okay, so now what we will be doing? Now what relation it is? It is a relation between acceleration and velocity. Okay, so now what we will be doing? Okay, so I have acceleration equal to 100 minus 4v square, implies acceleration is that is dv divided by dt, that is equal to 100 minus 4v square. So in that what I can do, I can take my dt to the RHS and 100 minus 4v square to the LHS. Okay, so what do I have? I have dt equal to dv divided by 100 minus 4v square. Okay, then next step what I do? Next what I have to do then?
Integrate.
Now I have a relation between time and velocity, right? From the expression for relation between time, acceleration and velocity, I have found out a relation between time and velocity. And do I know the velocity? I know that, okay. So I do not know the time. What is my time interval? I am supposed to find out the time interval. Integral t1 to t2 dt equal to integral dv upon 100 minus 4v square. मुझे what is my speed here? Speed changes from 1 to 3 meters per second. So what is my here? What is my lower limit going to be? 1 or 3? Hmm?
One.
My lower
One.
limit it is going to be 1. My higher limit which is that is going to be 3. So now will you do the integration and give me the answer? You can use your calculator actually. कैलकुलेटर में आपको इंटीग्रेशन भी होता है. हाँ, टाइम निकाला आपने? आपको मिला कि नहीं मिला? एनीबडी? The time difference which is there, that comes out to be as 0.0245 seconds.
Yes, sir, correct है.
थैंक यू. आपने हाथ से किया कि कैलकुलेटर में किया?
कैलकुलेटर में क्या है सर अभी अभी?
तो आप बहुत स्लो
फर्स्ट
हो.
टाइम. हाँ सर, धीरे धीरे प्रैक्टिस हो जाएगी.
गुड गुड गुड. नहीं करो, करके देख के रखना चाहिए, बहुत काम आता है. ओके, so the time interval which is that is going that we have found out as 0.0245 seconds. Okay, so now this was a simple part which was there. Okay, so where I had to find out the time interval. The next case which was there. Okay, so मुझे क्या करना है next case में? मुझे क्या निकालना है? डिस्प्लेसमेंट निकालना है. So for the displacement which was there, so here what happens, I'll have to go back to where this यहाँ पे मुझे अभी एक्सेलरेशन में से मुझे डिस्प्लेसमेंट निकालना है. मैं कौन सा एक्सप्रेशन यूज करूंगा? एक्सेलरेशन इक्वल टू 100 इंटू स्पेस दिया हुआ है एंड आई हैव टू फाइंड आउट द डिस्प्लेसमेंट. क्या करूंगा मैं? एक्सेलरेशन इक्वल टू v इंटू डी वी बाई डी एक्स. ये एक्सप्रेशन यूज कर सकता हूँ ना मैं?
Yes, sir.
Try to understand how you should be thinking. Okay, here I am given as velocity acceleration equal to dv by dt. तो यहाँ पे मैं जब भी मेरा एक्सप्रेशन एक्सेलरेशन इक्वल टू 100 माइनस 4v स्क्वायर सब्स्टिट्यूट करूंगा तो मुझे क्या हुआ? ये फर्स्ट केस मुझे क्या मिला? मैंने 100 माइनस 4v स्क्वायर सब्स्टिट्यूट करके टाइम निकाला, राइट? आई फाउंड आउट द टाइम. द नेक्स्ट केस व्हेन आई वांट टू फाइंड आउट द डिस्प्लेसमेंट, वो केस के लिए क्या करना होगा? मुझे ये एक्सप्रेशन लेना होगा, v into dv by dx. v dv by dx लिया एंड यहाँ पे मुझे RHS में 100 minus 4v square. So then I can take dx to the RHS and I can find out dx. So again we start with acceleration equal to 100 minus 4v square. Okay, so that is implies v into dv by dx, that is equal to 100 minus 4v square. So implies I have dx equal to v divided by 100 minus 4v square into dv. Now let me find out between I have to find out the displacement, right? So between x2 and x1, also I have dx equal to integral, where the velocity change was between 1 and 3 meters per second. So by integral 1 to 3 v into dv divided by 100 minus 4v square. So implies, okay, so I can get x2 minus x1 equal to
So 0.506. 0.0506.
आप ना पॉइंट का बहुत ये करते हो, 0.05068 मीटर.
हाँ, तो 0.0506 ना सर.
इम्प्लाइज बेटा आपको 0.05068 और 0.50 में बहुत फर्क होता है.
तो मैंने 6 तक बोला.
ठीक है, लेकिन आपने पहले 0.50 बोला, 506 बोला, 0.0506 बोल नहीं बोला.
हाँ हाँ, फर्स्ट टाइम मैंने
That makes a lot of difference. That makes a lot of difference. Okay. बोलने से पहले 2 बार आंसर देख लो, चेक कर लो. My displacement which is there, okay. So generally we represent the displacement also as delta x. Okay. So delta x equal to 0.05037 meters. So now if anybody you have a question, okay, about this question, if you have any doubts on this question, you can ask. मेरे पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस जनरली मुझे डायनेमिक्स जो है मुझे एक्चुअली बहुत आसान लगता है compared to statics part together. I have found like dynamics to be easier. Sorry. Okay, so we'll go to the next question then. Okay, a particle it is starting from rest from origin. Okay, and its acceleration is given by a equal to k divided by x plus 4 the whole square. Now, knowing that the velocity is 4 meters per second and the acceleration and the displacement it is 8 meters, I am supposed to find out the value firstly. I am supposed to find out the value of k, and then after finding out the value of k, I should be finding out the position when, well, the velocity it is 4.5 meters per second. Okay. Acceleration of k divided by x plus 4 the whole square. Firstly, what you can do, it is starting from rest from origin, right? So what do I know? What I can say
x1 equals to
is
0.
it is starting from rest, right? So
So
starting from rest means v1 equal to 0,
v1 and x1 0.
and it is starting from origin. So I have x1 equal to 0. So this value which is whatever this value which is there, so that will be v2, and this will be x2. Correct. Now what expression I can use? So I have two cases, right? I have a equal to k divided by x plus 4 the whole square. Then I have v1 equal to 0 at x1 equal to 0. In second case, I have v2 equal to 4
4, 4, sir.
meters per second at x2 equal to 8 meters. मुझे ऐसे दो केसेस पता है ना, correct? Knowing that v2 equal to v equal to 4 meters per second and x equal to 8 meters per second at that instant. So then that will be my v2. So I have v1, I know v1, I know v2, I know x1, I know x2, and I am given the expression. Firstly, मुझे value of k, मुझे क्या निकालना है? This is an expression of acceleration in terms of x, right? So which expression I should be using then? What do you
v
think?
into dv by dx equals to k by x plus 4 का whole square.
V into dv by
dv
dx,
by
right?
v into dv by dx.
मुझे लिखते रखना हो गया नहीं. V into dv by dx. Okay, so that is equal to acceleration, that is equal to k divided by x plus 4 the whole square. So implies, or how, by rewriting the expression, so I have v into dv that is equal to k into x divided by x plus 4 the whole, x plus 4 the whole square is just in the denominator, numerator में नहीं है, मैंने बड़ा ब्रैकेट डाल दिया, into dx. Now I can integrate, right? So I have integral of v into dv equal to integral of, since k is a constant, okay, so I can take k outside, k multiplied by integral x dx upon x plus 4 the whole square. So what will be the integral then? Implies integral of v dv, what is it?
Sir?
Integral of v dv.
Yeah, sir, 1 second.
हाँ,
Like v into dv equals to
न्यूमरेटर में
k
x कहाँ आ गया ना? यस
हाँ,
यस 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 यस, मैंने भी अभी मेरे को भी ध्यान में आया.
फाइनल आंसर
न्यूमरेटर में
k
एक
का
x.
48 है क्या?
हाँ,
k का 48 है फाइनल आंसर.
दैट्स अ लॉन्ग टाइम. बाकी लोगों को भी करने की. Integral v dv basically that comes out to be as v square divided by 2
2 0 to
equal
4.
to
Sir,
v square
1 by
divided by
6
2
k into 1 by 6.
v square divided by 2 between 0
0 to
and 4.
yes sir.
Between 0 and 4 equal to k into minus
1 by
1 divided by x plus 4 between 0 and 8. So implies I have 4 square 16 divided by 2, that is equal to 8 equal to
k by 6.
k minus k into x plus 8, right? So that will be how much? Minus 1 divided by 12 and minus of minus 1 divided by 4.
1 by 4 d plus
Yeah. So 1 by 4 minus 1 divided by 12. How much is that coming? That is going to be coming as
1 by 6.
1 by 6.
The k
K
equals to
that comes as 1 by 6 into k. So implies
equals
I have
to
k equal to 8 into 6,
40.
48.
Correct.
So I have found out, I have completed the first part of the question. Okay. So I found out the value of k, which is that. The value
Yes
of
sir.
k that comes out to be is 48. Next with
Hello,
me, I am
hello.
supposed to. Hello.
Yes sir.
ये एक इंटरप्शन हुआ था ना किसी का?
हाँ सर, पता नहीं किसका हो गया.
है ना, एक इंटरप्शन हुआ था ना बीच में, एक हेलो
हाँ
हेलो आया
सर.
था.
हाँ सर.
सर वो मेरा माइक भूल से दब गया था.
अरे आप ऐसे करोगे क्लास के बीच में तो क्या करूँगा मैं? तो ढूंढते ढूंढते पागल हो जाऊंगा क्या कहाँ से आवाज आया करके. Okay, so the value of k, which is that I'm getting it as 48, and after getting the value of k, okay, so what happens? Since I have to find out the velocity, I have to find out the displacement at v equal to 4.5 meters per second. Okay, so what I have to do here in this case, okay, so I'll have to go back to the expression and I have to find out, okay, what is the value of this. Yeah. Next मुझे position निकालना है at v equal to 4.5 seconds. Okay. So next step, what I'll have to do, I'll have to go again. Okay, so integral of v dv equal to integral of k into dx divided by x plus 4 the whole square. So implies v square divided by 2 equal to minus k divided by x plus 4 plus I'll be having the constant of integration c. So the constant of integration c also I have to find out. So at x equal to 0, comma v equal to 0. So implies 0 equal to minus k divided by 4 plus c, or implies c equal to k divided by 4, or implies what happens? C equal to how much is c
12.
then?
12.
C will be equal to 12. Okay. So implies my v square divided by 2 equal to minus k divided by x plus 4 plus 12. Correct? So now what I have this expression. Okay, let me
So,
derive this as expression number 1. और ये एक्सप्रेशन में अभी मैं क्या करूंगा, मुझे v इक्वल टू 2, मैं नेक्स्ट मुझे क्या कर सकता हूँ, मैं
4.5
यहाँ पे v इक्वल टू 4.5 ऐड कर सकता हूँ ना,
और k की वैल्यू
वो implies at v equal to 4.5 meters per second, comma k equal to 48, correct? So implies 4.5 square divided by 2 equal to minus 48 divided by x plus 4 plus 12. So implies x becomes equal to, I can get the value of x. जल्दी से बोलो, x का वैल्यू जल्दी से बोलो। अभी आप लोग कैलकुलेटर यूज करना शुरू कर दो, स्पीड बढ़ाओगी।
तो 21.6 21.6
Anybody else to confirm?
Yes, 1.6.
क्या बात है, स्पीड बढ़ रहा है आपका, गुड। The displacement is there, that is correct. Okay, so the value that you have got, that is correct. So, okay, so this question, so firstly I am supposed to find the value of k. So firstly, value of k, which is that we have got it as 48, and secondly, the displacement when velocity equal to 4.5 meters per second, okay, is 21.6 meters. Okay. So now, with the couple of examples that we took, okay, so we are able to establish the relations which are there. Okay, now we'll take one more question. Okay, so acceleration equal to 8 divided by v square plus 1 meters per second square, and here the velocity of the train, which is that it is given in meters per second. Find the velocity of the train, okay, when its displacement is 20 meters and its displacement when the velocity it is 64.8 meters per kph. अभी हमको कुछ मजा आएगा काम करने में। Firstly, okay, ये 64.8 मीटर किलोमीटर्स पर आवर को जो है, either we do all the calculations in meters per second or we do all the seconds in kilometers per hour. Okay, so now let me see. Firstly, acceleration, which is that the unit of acceleration that is given in terms of meters per second. Next, the velocity, which is that is again given in terms of meter. So just the displacement is given here. It is given in terms of kilometers per hour. Okay. So why for the in the first step, which is that before starting itself, what I will do, I will convert this kilometers per hour to meters per second. Okay. So what is the conversion? Kilometers per hour to meters per second conversion क्या है?
5/11 ना sir, as far as I remember.
हाँ? 5/?
11.
अच्छा, फिर से एक बार स्कूल में जाके बैठा देंगे।
नहीं, जितना मेरे को वो सबको मतलब मिनिमाइज करने के बाद
5/11 नहीं है, आपका न्यूमरेटर करेक्ट है, डिनोमिनेटर गलत है।
एक
स्कूल का बुक खोलो। It is becoming just of a monologue. Okay, खाली कोई एक है जो बोल रहा है, बाकी कोई भी मुंह नहीं खोल रहे। लगता है सब लोग खाना खा के सो गए।
5/18 सर,
5/11 किधर है, 5/18 किधर है?
7 का डिफरेंस है सर।
बहुत फर्क होता है वो।
हाँ जी सर।
So now my velocity is that is 64.8 kilometers per hour. Okay, so 64.8 into 5 divided by 18 and converting that into meters per second. अब कितना आ रहा है बताओ?
18.
My acceleration is here. Acceleration expression for acceleration, it is a divided by v square plus 1. Okay, let me ask one thing. Okay, handwriting बहुत ज़्यादा गंदा तो नहीं हो रहा ना?
No, sir.
It's readable.
Yes, sir.
Acceleration is equal to 8 divided by v square plus 1 meters per second square. Now I am supposed to find out, okay, velocity when the displacement is 20 meters. Okay, 1 velocity at x equal to 20 meters. Secondly, the displacement at velocity equal to 18 meters per second. Okay, मुझे ये दोनों केसेस निकालने हैं. Now from the acceleration which is there, from the expression for acceleration, now here again हमको कौन सा expression use करना है? We'll be using dv by dt or v into dv by dx. कौन सा use करना पड़ेगा हमको?
So v into dv by dx.
क्यों?
सर x अपन को गिवन है ना?
मुझे यहाँ पे x दिया है ना दोनों केस के लिए. यहाँ पे दोनों केस के लिए भी मुझे x दिया है, तो इसके लिए मैं v into dv by dx will be more preferable. ये dv by dt भी ले सकते हैं, गलत नहीं है, लेकिन मुझे कहीं पे भी टाइम दिया नहीं है, फिर हमें बहुत लंबा घूमना पड़ेगा.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so implies v into dv divided by dx equal to 8 divided by v square plus 1. So implies I have v into v square plus 1 dv equal to 8 into dx. तो हमको प्रोडक्ट का नहीं करना है. ओके, सो v क्यूब प्लस v इंटू dv इक्वल टू 8 इंटू dx. अब क्या करेंगे? v क्यूब का इंटीग्रल क्या है? इंटीग्रल v क्यूब प्लस v dv equal to integral of 8 into integral of dx.
8 into dx.
So implies v cube into dv integral is v raised to 4 divided by 4, right?
v4 by 4
Plus second
by
one v dv, that will be v square divided by 2 equal to 8x c
plus
c, correct?
Yes,
तो
sir.
पहले मुझे क्या करना है? मुझे ये निकालना है. नेक्स्ट मुझे कांस्टेंट ऑफ इंटीग्रेशन c निकालना है. So now for the constant of integration, okay, so what is the condition that is given here? The first case, the acceleration of a train, it is starting from rest at any instant. Starting from rest मतलब क्या हो गया? मुझे
0.
क्या 0 है?
v 0 है सर. v स्टार्टिंग में 0 है और x भी 0 है.
Starting from rest बोला है ना. So implies I have x1 equal to 0, v1 equal to 0. Initial velocity 0 है and उसका initial displacement जो है वो भी 0 है ना, starting point है.
Yes,
so
sir.
Implies what will the value of c then?
Equals to
Value
0.
of c becomes equal to 0. So hence equation 1 becomes v raised to 4 plus v square. V raised to 4 divided by 4 plus v square divided by 2, that is equal to 8x. Now this expression which is there, okay, so I can, first case I know x equal to 20, right? So what? At x equal to 20 meters, so implies v raised to 4 divided by 4 plus v square divided by 2, that is equal to 8 into 20, that is equal to 160. Implies v equal to p कितना है आपको? At x equal to 20 meters.
4.9361.
हाँ 9313 मुझे आया। ये कैसे? हमने वैल्यूज तो सेम लिए, कहीं पर राउंड ऑफ का तो सवाल ही नहीं है। करेक्ट? So you should be getting the same answers, right? All these values here, they are all whole numbers, right? At x equal to 20 meters, the velocity is obtained to be as 4.9313 meters per second. Okay. Or around 17.75 kilometers per hour. Why I am writing that? Because हमने already question के starting में हमको एक value kilometer per hour भी दिया था, तो इसके लिए just for the sake of simplicity, for the sake of understanding, okay, we are also writing it in terms of kilometers per hour. Secondly, at v equal to 18 meters per second implies 18 raised to 4 divided by 4 plus 18 square divided by 2 equal to 8 into x, implies x equal to x. I've got it as 3300.75 meters or approximately 3.30 kilometers. ठीक है, आप दोनों में से कोई भी वैल्यू आप लिख सकते हो, दोनों लिखा तो भी अच्छा है। ठीक है, जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग। ओके, सो मैंने क्या किया, मैंने आपको दोनों वैल्यूज लिखा है। ओके, अभी हमने 2 क्वेश्चन और सॉल्व किया है। ओके, if anybody have a doubt you can ask. अभी हम लोग अभी ये क्वेश्चन आप ट्राई करेंगे सॉल्व करने को। ओके, here I am given as acceleration equal to 0.8 into t square. Okay, acceleration just in terms of time है, velocity नहीं है। You can use the expression acceleration equal to dv by dt or d square x by dt square. Okay, आप टाइम का इक्वेशन यूज कर सकते हो, just a case of double integral. Okay, I'm supposed to find out the position and the velocity. It's a very simple question, and in this one of the questions in the university examination asked for 5 marks. Okay, old papers में 5 marks के लिए आया है question. Okay, simple straight question है। I have acceleration equal to, acceleration is given by 0.8 into t square. Then I'll be firstly मुझे एक बार integration करना है। Okay, I'll be integrating, when I'm integrating it for the first time. Okay, I'll finding out velocity equal to integral of a integral of okay, a equal to dv by dt हो गया, तो dv equal to integral of a into dt, then वैसे ही dx equal to integral of v into dt, एंड उसके बाद में मुझे यहाँ पे x दिया है, v को दिया है at time t. So I can, what I can do, I can find out the x with time and with velocity. Okay, so I can find out the first constant of integration at for dv. Then when I'm integrating it for the second time, I can use t equal to 2 and x equal to 5. So that time I can find out the second constant of integration, k, and then I can find out my value.
सर
हाँ,
एक बार फिर से एक्सप्लेन करना ये वाला।
आप यहाँ ये केस में आपको dv by dx नहीं यूज करना है, आपको एक्सेलरेशन इक्वल टू dv by dt यूज करना है। क्यों? क्योंकि टाइम मुझे
Okay.
टाइम के इन माय एक्सप्रेशन फॉर एक्सेलरेशन इज गिवन इन टर्म्स ऑफ टाइम, राइट?
यस सर।
I'll be integrating it twice, right? First integral in terms of dv हो गया, तो मुझे एक कांस्टेंट ऑफ इंटीग्रेशन आएगा c1। देन उसको
Yes,
उसी
sir.
सेम को मैं जब एक बार और इंटीग्रेट करूंगा तो मुझे c1 of x plus c2 आएगा ना,
यस सर, यस सर।
c1x plus c2 आएगा। So in the first, after the first integration, what I can do, I can put v equal to 12 and t equal to 2. तो मुझे c1 का वैल्यू कुछ आ जाएगा। Then I
Yes,
can
sir.
go for the second integration, right?
Yes, sir.
That is what I told you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'll give you 5 minutes. It shouldn't take more than 5. There 5. Okay. Have you completed? आपके 5 मिनट हो गए. कंप्लीट हुआ कि नहीं हुआ? एटलीस्ट एक पार्ट तो भी कंप्लीट हो गया. वेलोसिटी एट t equal to 6 meters to 6 seconds कितना है?
Sir, 24.8.
वेलोसिटी कितना आ रहा है आपको? 24.8 meters per second.
Yes, sir.
देखना पड़ेगा. टू क्यूब 8 into 0.8 मतलब कितना हो गया मुझे? 6.4 divided by 3. 2.1333. 12 minus 2.133 मतलब T becomes equal to 9.8677. So implies V equal to 0.8 divided by 3. Okay. So implies 1 becomes V equal to 0.267 T cube plus 9.8677. ठीक है. सिंपल मैंने क्या किया? 0.8 डिवाइडेड बाई 3 किया यहाँ पे और C का वैल्यू जो है C का वैल्यू यहाँ पे पुट किया. नेक्स्ट dx डिवाइडेड बाई dt इक्वल टू 0.267 t क्यूब प्लस 9.8677 और इम्प्लाइज dt को RHS में ले लिया. ओके. सो dx इक्वल टू 0.267 t क्यूब प्लस 9.8677. अभी मुझे dx का इंटीग्रेशन किया सो x इक्वल टू 0.267 डिवाइडेड बाई 4 t रेज टू 4 प्लस 9.8677 इंटू t प्लस c. अभी यहाँ पे मैं C1 लिखा. ओके. तो वहाँ पे मैंने C1 लिख लिया. अभी यहाँ पे C2 किया. C2 के लिए मैं क्या कर दे सकता हूँ? इक्वेशन नंबर 2. और इक्वेशन नंबर 2 के लिए क्या था? एट t इक्वल टू 2 सेकेंड what was x equal to? X was equal to 5 meters, right? X equal to 5 meters. So implies I have 5 equal to 0.267 divided by 4 into 2 raised to 4 plus 9.8677 into 2 plus C2, or implies the value of C2 that you will be getting 5 minus 0.267 into 2 raised to 4 is 16. 16 divided by 4. That will be equal to 4 itself. Minus 9.8677 into 2. Okay, so my second constant of integration is here. Okay, so I'm getting it as minus 15.8034. Implies what I can say, equation number 2 which is there. Equation number 2 becomes as x equal to 0.267. 0.267 divided by 4, that is at x to 0.267 divided by 4, that is 0.06675 t raised to 4 plus 9.8677 t minus 15.8034. So this is my expression for x. Now इसको मैंने 2 ले लिया, v का एक्सप्रेशन जो था. Okay, so this becomes equation number 3, and here also becomes equation number 3. This becomes equation number 4. Implies from equation number 2 and equation number 4, so I have v equal to 0.267 t cube plus 9.8677 and I have x equal to 0.06675 t raised to 4 plus 9.8677 t minus 15.8034. Now what I was supposed to find out? I was supposed to find out at t equal to 6 seconds. So at t equal to 6 seconds implies v equal to 67.5397 meters per second in x equal to 129.9108 meters. अभी आपको जो वैल्यू आया था उसके साथ में मैच करो. आपको क्या आया था वैल्यू? 24.8 आया था. कैसे आया आपको?
सर एक्चुअली मैंने क्वेश्चन रॉन्ग लिखा था. 0.8 टी स्क्वायर है तो मैंने खाली टी लेकर सॉल्व किया.
ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. अभी आपने गलती किया, नेवर माइंड. एग्जाम में गलती मत करना.
यस सर.
Okay. So with this, okay, so we'll stop today's session. Okay, and with whatever the numericals, okay, in the theory that we have seen. Okay, so now what I can for today's session, so what I can say that I am able to establish the relation between velocity and the acceleration for a particle, okay, during rectilinear motion, right? है ना, मैं वो एक टर्म ऐड कर सकता हूँ ना, ड्यूरिंग रेक्टिलिनियर मोशन. वो मेरा आज का अभी कंप्लीट हुआ है. अभी मुझे क्या बाकी है? टू एनालाइज द मोशन बाय प्लॉटिंग द रिलेशन बाकी है. सो दैट विच इज देयर. ओके, सो नाउ फर्स्टली वी हैव डिस्कस अबाउट रेक्टिलिनियर मोशन. नेक्स्ट हम क्या करेंगे? नेक्स्ट हम लोग कर्विलिनियर मोशन ये देखेंगे. ओके, सो मोशन ऑफ अ पार्टिकल विद वेरिएबल एक्सेलरेशन जो हमने देखा है. द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक विच इज देयर विल बी लुकिंग अबाउट कर्विलिनियर मोशन विच इज देयर. ओके, सो व्हेन द पार्टिकल व्हेन माय पार्टिकल दैट इज मूविंग अबाउट अ कर्व. अब वो कर्व जो है मेरे को सर्कल भी हो सकता है, मुझे पैराबोलिक कर्व भी हो सकता है, कोई भी कर्व हो सकता है. सो इट इज कॉल्ड अबाउट कर्विलिनियर मोशन. देन द टेंजेंशियल एंड द नॉर्मल कंपोनेंट ऑफ एक्सेलरेशन. अभी ये क्या है, टेंजेंट एंड नॉर्मल? नो, जनरली माय जब मैं भी एक व्हेन आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द पोजीशन ऑफ अ पार्टिकल, आई एम टॉकिंग इट इन टर्म्स ऑफ x, y, राइट? But when I'm talking about curvilinear motion, okay, so when in the case of curvilinear motion, then that has actually two components of acceleration. Firstly, I have the tangential component of acceleration. The tangential component of acceleration is there. हम एक बहुत सिंपल सी एक बात है, हम लोग अगर हाथ में रख के कुछ अगर ऐसे घुमा रहे हैं, जैसे हम लोग हाथ छोड़ते हैं, okay, as soon as I am just releasing it from my hand, what happens? In which direction does it fly? मैं अगर एक स्टोन को एक स्ट्रिंग में बांध के मैं ऐसे घुमा रहा हूँ, ठीक है, वो घुमाते घुमाते अगर मैंने हाथ से छोड़ दिया तो कौन से डायरेक्शन में जाएगा? जैसे हेलो,
So centripetal force is direction में होगा उसका।
सेंट्रीपिटल या सेंट्रीफ्यूगल?
सेंट्रीफ्यूगल सर, सेंट्रिपिटल तो टेंजेंशियल हो गया ना, जो नॉर्मल
Okay.
कंपोनेंट ऑफ एक्सेलरेशन।
What is centripetal? Yes. What is centripetal? What is meant by centripetal force?
Towards the
tangent.
Towards the center. Yes. Towards the center. तो towards the center बोलने से आपको वो कंपोनेंट कौन सा कंपोनेंट है? मेरा नॉर्मल कंपोनेंट है। और जो मैं सेंट्रीफ्यूगल फोर्स बोल रहा हूँ जिसके कारण में पार्टिकल जो है वो बाहर थ्रो होता है, दैट इज द टेंजेंशियल कंपोनेंट। यू आर करेक्ट, गुड पॉइंट, गुड। So the normal component that I can say is that is my centripetal force.
Yes sir.
And that is causing centripetal force because of the centripetal force, and the tangential component because of the centrifugal. Good. Okay, so this is what this discussion. Okay, so we'll be continuing in the next lecture. Okay, so stay tuned. हम लोग अभी next lecture अभी हमारा tomorrow 12:30 को है. Okay, and in the before that, okay, so we have the practical session. Okay, in the practical session we'll be taking the first assignment. Okay, and we'll be completing the first assignment. Okay, so आप papers थोड़ा सा लेके रखो, ठीक है? A4 sheets जो है, A4 sheets रेडी रखो। A4 sheets हो गया, पेन पेंसिल कैलकुलेटर सब जो है रेडी रखो। Okay, so we'll take the first assignment in the next session. Okay, tomorrow during the practical session. Okay, now what you can do is that now you can give your attendance in the chat box and you can leave the meeting. Thank you for your attention. Okay, so if you are given the attendance, you can leave the meeting. Okay.
Yes sir. So one question sir.
हाँ
सर आपने वो जो वो इक्वेशन थी ना, क्वाड्रेटिक आई मीन बाई क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन, जो v की पावर 4 + 2v² = 6 होती है, उसको कैलकुलेटर में कैसे इंसर्ट किया था आपने?
ओके, रिकॉर्डिंग खत्म होने। तो सब लोग का ये हो गया है। मैं अभी अटेंडेंस ये क्लोज कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है?
यस सर।